Beastars opens on a shot that can only be described as ethereal. My first encounter with Beastars was seeing the title card on Netflix and thinking absolutely nothing of it. Animal society has become a very common narrative device. It allows us to explore the idea of, what if those differences that separate us were literal? And as much as Zootopia left an impression, it wasn't exactly for its deep themes on race, so after a passing glance, I moved on to whatever first caught my eye. I was very, very wrong. I have never seen an anime quite like Beastars. Everything it does is non-traditional. The characters are named shit like Louis and Bill, the animation is weighty and dynamic, the theme song is made by a jazz rap group with roots in Africa, Europe, Asia, and the US. I mean, what the fuck? All this unnatural energy is brought in full force to make this anime as kick-ass as possible in every way you wouldn't expect. Right after that ethereal beginning shot is the murder of an alpaca named Tem, which softly sets the events of the story in motion. But it's not the investigation that pushes things forward. The only thing that Tem's murder changes is a new opening for the upcoming school play, Adler. The entire murder mystery plot gets shoved to the side in second place to the relationship between Legacy and Haru, a severely introverted gray wolf and a dwarf rabbit. The best thing about this relationship is that unlike most animal societies, it's not just prejudice keeping these two apart. Predators and Beastars are so incredibly strong compared to prey that they can accidentally rip off the limbs of them if they're not careful. Similar relationships have almost always ended in predators going into a frenzy and ripping apart their partners. I mean, the entire universe has it out for these two. BNA was produced by Studio Trigger, an animation studio famous for their impeccable action scenes and animation style, two things that are not at all lost on this universe. The world of BNA, in contrast to Beastars' almost timeless aura, is incredibly modern, with massive gleaming cityscapes and a heavy focus on genetics and the ethics of toying with it. Beastmen have the power to transform at will from human to beast form, and have been in the world just as long as humanity, but the time we enter is one of uneasy peace. Anima City is the one beacon of hope for all beastmen, a metropolis for all kinds to enter and be as they want to be, but like most of these stories, the metropolis is not the utopia it claims. Michiru, our main character, is an incredible breakthrough for the world of BNA. She was a regular human being that one day inexplicably turned into a beastman and can't change back. After barely making it to Anima City, she arrives on the 10th anniversary of its creation, and at the beginning of a series of terrorist attacks on it. Along the path to stop them, she meets Shido, a mysterious indestructible wolf who totally isn't that glowing silver wolf we just saw a few minutes prior. I mean, I'm telling you, there is no way that the silver wolf, the enigmatic figure that pervades the entire story and drives the plot forward, is actually this unkillable wolf. I mean, that would be crazy. Michiru's unrelenting emotion clashes with Shido's unfeeling principles to protect all beastmen, giving us a pair of two opposite yet equally special protagonists against an endlessly large city. Nobody is truly special in Beastars. The first half of Beastars is centered almost entirely around Adler, the school play. The scope of the story never leaves the school, always in small rooms and close shots, so when Adler and its events finally unveil, the scale of the auditorium feels just like the cityscape shots of BNA. The closeness of Beastars allows us to see the nuance of a society where these differences are so extreme. The love triangle between these three carries the entirety of Season 1, but what's apparent is how amazingly distinct these characters are to each other. Legacy is an amazingly strong wolf who actively suppresses himself in order to be noticed as little as possible. Louis is this distinctive figure haunted by a past being bred to be sold. Haru is sick of being an object for people to save and only feels equal in bed. But despite this, all of them suffer from a lack of control. The scale of the city replaces Beastars' nuance with large-scale conflicts and action scenes. The antagonist is much less vague. Instead of, society, the antagonist comes in the form of Sylvasta Pharmaceutical, the company that funds all of Anima City. Because of this though, the themes of the show can be much better defined. BNA tackles modern themes of corporate greed, ethics, control of information, cultural assimilation, ignorant support, religion, true acceptance, things that only a modern story of this scale could cover so effectively. The second half of Beastars turns the lens from the society in the school to society at large. Suddenly we see winding shots of the city, but never a bird's eye view. And right when we feel that awe of this seemingly peaceful utopia between carnivore and herbivore, that comfort and space is suffocated right in front of you. Summer is out and the drama department is tasked with preparing the Meteor Festival, an event that celebrates dinosaurs, the ancestors of all beings in this world. The effects of the Devourings is never fully shown, but you can still feel the effects ripple throughout the world of Beastars every time something happens. One of the most commendable things I can say about Beastars is that it's the only anime I've ever seen with a realistically stupid protagonist. Half the time in anime you see all these people called idiots, then 10 minutes later defeating fucking Belvazor, the God King of Trickery and his army of sentient testicles. Legacy throws himself at issues he doesn't understand with brute force and often fails completely. But at the same time, he's compassionate and doesn't bend the knee to the society he's exposed to. No matter how difficult the situation is, he throws himself at anything he thinks is wrong. The show's finales are almost exact opposites. BNA's finale is a citywide chaos of animals inflicted with Nervoso syndrome, while Shido, Michiru, and others desperately try to create an antidote. After some very close calls and some great action scenes, the show wraps up almost immediately, with reconstruction and new hope over the city, despite the harsh reality it has down the line. The action climax of Beastars happens 2 episodes before it ends. Haru was kidnapped by a mob of lions who specialize in devourings, and Louis is stopped from going after her by the mayor at risk of his reputation, leaving Legacy to charge the mob by himself. This is where the show really displays its unique action compared to most anime. Every punch, throw, grapple feels so guttural and real, and since the action is so sparse, every time it happens is a joy to watch. The final episode of Beastars is set on the night of the Meteor Festival, at the romantic climax of the season. Legacy is given the choice of being with Juno, another wolf, or to follow Haru into whatever struggles they'll face together. BNA and Beastars are examples of just how different 2 shows can be despite their surface looks. Both have their merits, strengths, and weaknesses. One has one of the most uncomfortable scenes in all of television, and the other has a twist a 2-year-old child pile-drived on his head could guess, but I truly enjoyed both. But, you know, Beastars is better. Suck my nuts and have a fantastic day.